Hey, what's good, everybody? It's the Chef Karl from Cooking and Grilling with Karl. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be doing a delicious garlic steak bites recipe right after this. Alright, so before we get started with the recipe, let me show you all the ingredients I'll be using. Alright, so right here I'm going to be cutting up a half an onion. And here I'm going to be cutting up 2 Roma tomatoes. I'm only going to be using the flesh of the tomatoes. And the reason I'm using the flesh is because I don't want the pulp to turn it into more of a stew. I want to kind of keep the integrity of the tomatoes. Alright, so right here I'm dicing up the tomatoes, medium dice. Alright, so right here I'm cleaning up 2 sprigs of rosemary, fresh rosemary. Alright, next up, I'm just going to do a rough chop of some fresh parsley. And this is only to kind of give it, some green into the dish. Alright, some nice herbs. It's not going to really add much flavor to it, but it's just definitely going to make it look a lot nicer. Alright, so right here I'm going to be cutting up 2 filet mignons, about 15 ounces of meat altogether. I'm going to be cutting them up as if I was making beef stew. Alright, and in this case it's okay to use the fat. That's going to add moisture to the recipe. But for your garlic steak bites, you can use ribeye, you can use chuck roast. If you use chuck roast, you're probably going to have to cook it a little bit longer to get it more tender. You can use top round, top butt. It's up to you. Strip steak. But I had broken down a beef tenderloin and I had cut some fillets out of it, so I'm using this. Alright, so I'm going to be seasoning the meat. Just went in with some fresh minced garlic. Going in with some complete seasoning, which is just basically seasoning salt. Just went in with some dry cilantro flakes. And right here is some steak seasoning. And this is all optional. I mean, you can use your favorite seasoning salt. You can use salt and pepper. But you definitely got to have the garlic in there. Alright. And I prefer to use fresh garlic instead of garlic powder or garlic salt. Alright, so just giving all that a nice mix. Alright, so right here I got some Kerry Gold butter. Definitely use Kerry Gold butter for this recipe. It's definitely going to take it to the next level. If you can't find it, then just use whatever butter you can, but try to get a quality butter. Alright, Kerry Gold butter is just basically an Irish butter, and it doesn't typically have all the additives that regular butter has. Alright, and so into a hot cast iron pan, I went in with some avocado oil, followed by the meat for my garlic steak bites. All right. And the reason I use avocado oil because it has a high smoke point. So you want to use an oil that's going to have a high smoke point. All right. Avocado oil, beef tallow, um, maybe even peanut oil. And you might can get away with olive oil, but it doesn't have a high smoke point. Oh, you can also use coconut oil, but it will change the flavor a little bit. And one of the main things you want to do is make sure you preheat your pan. You want to hear that nice sear, that nice sizzle when your meat hits the pan. And definitely move your steak around every now and then because you don't want the garlic to sit there and burn. But you definitely want to try to get a nice little crust on the meat. So as you can see, I'm getting a nice crust on the meat. Alright, so right here I'm going in some Marsala wine. This is optional. I just wanted something to deglaze the pan. When you deglaze, that's putting liquid into the hot pan, and that's going to raise up all that fond. The fond is all the bits and pieces of the meat, the onions, everything that you've been sauteing that's been collecting on the bottom. And you want to use liquid to raise that up off the pan and get it into that sauce, which is going to add more flavor. Alright. Like I said, the Marsala is optional. You can use like a Madeira, which is almost like a Marsala, kind of sweet. You can use red wine. You can even use white wine if you want to, or you can deglaze with either beef broth or chicken broth. All right. So I went in with some complete seasoning, and that's basically my seasoning salt. All right, just giving it a quick taste. All right, went in with that Kerry Gold butter. And at this point, when you put your butter in, you want to turn your heat down because you don't want your butter to melt too fast. You want that butter to kind of emulsify with the meat, the onions, and kind of turn into a sauce almost. All right, went in with those tomatoes. And like I said, just like the parsley, this is going to kind of be for color. It is going to add some flavor, but it's more so for the color. And you know, you can add in, you know, some red, green peppers. You know, there's other things that you can add to this if you want to kind of turn it up or just kind of make it your own. I pretty much was using what I had in my refrigerator, but the star of the show is definitely the beef and the garlic. Oh, and the butter. All right, so at this point, the garlic steak bites recipe is done. All right. All right, so right here, I'm just gonna give it a quick taste. Yeah, and as you can see, the garlic steak bites was fire. All right, so yeah, the recipe is pretty much done. Just got it sitting on the stove, simmering a little bit, and now I'm just gonna do a quick plate up. All right, I'm gonna be serving this over some rice, but you can serve it with like mashed potatoes, roasted potatoes, even over some pasta. Mix in with some fettuccine or something like that. Alright, just going down with a little bit more parsley just for garnish. Alright, so we're at the end of the video. Definitely give this recipe a try. Garlic butter steak bites. I just want to thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload more recipes. I'll catch you on the next video. This is Chef Karl from Cooking and Grilling with Karl. God bless. Peace.